On the edge of Essex, a nature reserve created from the soil of London. This is RSPB Wallasey, a rare habitat and now home to thousands of birds.
These islands were deliberately designed so that there's always water around them, so they fill up at high tides, but the water doesn't ebb away at low tide, and so the birds always feel safe.
This area wasn't always like this. 7 years ago, it was fields and below sea level.
It's really important locally for, we get 30,000 wintering birds here, and some of those have now got significant populations in terms of the British population. And we also, for breeding birds, we have one of the largest colonies of breeding avocet now in England. The site has developed really well.
So it's a real success story, really.
Yeah, it certainly is. And more visitors are coming to enjoy it, appreciate the wildness of the site, plus appreciate the wildlife that lives here.
And without the Crossrail spoil, I suppose you just wouldn't have been able to do that.
We certainly wouldn't have been able to do this intertidal habitat, no, because the site was below sea level before, and we needed that material in order to make the habitats and make the new embankment so that the sea didn't come any further onto the island.
This is what it looked like when the work started. Spoil from the Crossrail tunnels was shipped along the Thames, millions and millions of tonnes. To get there, we drove a couple of miles along these roads. Even here, it can flood.
By working with Crossrail, we've been able to create an incredible series of marsh features using the material excavated from beneath London.
Jeff helped create these wild wetlands. When the tide comes in, it floods and helps create a link with other habitats for birds right up the east coast.
It's a bit like the Heathrow of the bird world, really. It's on the East Atlantic flyway. There's literally millions of birds travelling up and down this flyway, and they're dropping in, stopping, wintering, passage birds, and all of these sites are vitally important. And so by the work with Crossrail, we've actually been able to add one new site within this complex.
This site is absolutely huge, and it's now a site of global significance. It's a real success story. These lagoons and these islands were actually created using the spoil from Crossrail. And if you look over here, that was actually the level before that actually happened, before they brought all of that mud here. Crossrail itself is now nearing completion. Its legacy on the Essex coast will also be felt for many years. Tom Edwards, BBC London.